2026 NFL Draft is officially in the books. Pittsburgh hosted an absolute spectacle for the ages. Heading down there for days 2 and 3 was incredible. The league and city did a phenomenal job. It was organized, packed with action, and general admission tickets cost nothing. It might not be the top overall pick in the draft, but for me, this choice is easy. I am stepping to the podium to name SeatGeek, today's sponsor, as my #1 way to grab tickets for any event in America. With 70,000 games, concerts, and live shows available, everything I want is right on the app. It even ranks seats from red to green on a 1 to 10 scale. You get a real view of the field before you buy. Plus, every seat is backed by their buyer guarantee. New around here? Use code TREE to knock $20 off your very first purchase. Don't leave money on the table. If SeatGeek were a person, I would give them a massive high five like every prospect getting picked in the green room. Enough of that. Let's get to the real picks. With the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Fernando Mendoza, quarterback, Indiana. The Raiders have officially crossed the Mendoza line. Bold choice. Remember when this quarterback class was supposed to be legendary? We expected future Hall of Famers, but everything collapsed in 6 months. Mendoza was the only one left standing when the dust settled. He has a high floor, but people call him a game manager from Indiana. Don't ignore those intangibles, though. The guy is a pure competitor. Look at that legendary run he had in the national championship game. They will be building statues of him across the state. This kid and his family are always ready for Sunday service at any time. Mendoza was born to lead a huddle. Now he gets to learn the ropes from Kirk Cousins himself. Vegas doesn't want to talk about Max Crosby almost leaving, and definitely don't bring up Tyree Wilson either. That is forbidden talk in Raider Nation. The New York Jets select David Bailey, linebacker out of Texas Tech. New York had a simple decision to make. It was either Bailey or Arvell Reese. Just flip a coin. David Bailey is 2 years older and far more polished, so he is the pick. Simple as that. He crushed it at Texas Tech in 2025, and that Jets defense was a disaster. Plus, he's the fastest edge rusher available. It is incredibly hard to blow the second overall pick, though the Jets have managed to do it for years. If Bailey busts, they should just stop drafting. The Arizona Cardinals select Jeremiah Love, running back from Notre Dame. Are you kidding me? Arizona is dealing with massive issues across their entire organization right now. You have massive holes on the offensive line and the defense, yet you splurge on a luxury running back? You are in football bankruptcy. James Conner and Trey Benson are back, and you just signed Tyler Algier. Love is catching passes from Jacoby Brissett, and he's holding out. Don't get me wrong, Jeremiah Love is a phenomenal player. He is an explosive back who can score on any play. But for this team, this high, do you realize how badly top 5 running backs have performed lately? Most of them only succeed on other teams. Actually, I think I see exactly what they are doing here. They are terrified of another Amari DeMercado disaster. His total incompetence triggered a season-ending death spiral they cannot afford to repeat. They are praying nobody gets injured so they can save management's reputation. At least Love's bank account is set with $50 million guaranteed. That is more than any other active back in the league. Then they draft Carson Beck in the 3rd round, not a single defensive player until day 3. The Cardinals are a completely unserious franchise. The Tennessee Titans select Carnell Tate, wide receiver, Ohio State. Carnell Tate, a legendary veteran of that infamous game against Bishop Sycamore. Now that is a wild story I will be telling my grandkids someday. I did not expect Tennessee to go receiver this early, but after seeing how few weapons Cam Ward had in 2025, it makes total sense. Van Jefferson was a top option. They desperately needed an upgrade. Tate can create space and give the Titans that elite wideout they have needed since the A.J. Brown trade in 2022. Hopefully, Cam is not running for his life. He is playing in a Brian Dabble offense, right? The New York Giants select Arvell Reese, linebacker out of the Ohio State University. This guy is already collaborating with Reese's on custom jackets. That is how you know he is built for the league. I assumed the Giants would pick Sonny Styles to bolster their linebacker core, but Reese was the top player on their board. They could not pass him up. He should be a total wrecker. New York just stacked the edge. You have got Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, and now they are adding Ree to the mix. Opposing tackles are in major trouble. It is easier to stomach knowing Kayvon has seriously underachieved in this city so far. Where he lines up is anyone's guess, but that is a great problem. The Giants need all the hope they can find. With the pick, the Kansas City Chiefs select Mansour Delane. This LSU defensive back fits perfectly. The Chiefs are overhauling that secondary and had to land Mansour no matter what. They jumped 3 spots to leapfrog the Saints and Commanders. Both needed a corner like Delane, so this move was absolutely vital. Jalen Watson is hitting free agency, and that is not all. Star corner Trent McDuffie was shipped out west to Los Angeles. Was number 6 a reach? Maybe a little. But again, Kansas City was desperate for a true number 1 corner. Maybe Mansour sparked something in Travis Kelce, too. Against all odds, the big man is returning for one more run. Let us hope he is not totally washed this year. Now, the Washington Commanders select Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State. He is the heir apparent to Bobby Wagner. Let us be real, Washington's defense was a total disaster last season. They need pieces to erase the memory of Joe Witt Jr. Styles is a true field general and an instant spark for this defense. They need anyone who can stop teams from running wild. Sonny will be rocking those sharp new uniforms in 2026. Just admit you want the old name back, even if you are not allowed to say it out loud anymore. I do not blame them. These have some personality. Are fans really complaining about the spear on the helmets? Is the Chiefs logo a problem now too? Anyway, the New Orleans Saints select Jordan Tyson, wide receiver, Arizona State. The Saints are in a spot where they have holes all over the roster. They need wideouts in the worst way. It is Chris Olave and a bunch of random guys out there. Given Olave's concussion history, they needed a major weapon. Jordan Tyson is here to build the chemistry required for this offense to work. Can Tyler Show be the quarterback who connects with Tyson? The front office is certainly betting on it. Most of the old guard is gone now. This is a new era in New Orleans, and fans are finally hopeful. The Cleveland Browns select Spencer Fano, a tackle out of Utah. Cleveland's line is either injured or gone, so they need this guy like a desert needs rain. Luckily, the Browns were able to draft exactly who they wanted. Spencer Fano is a great tackle and was top of their board. But who is he blocking for in 2026? That is the big mystery. Will it be Shadur Sanders? Or maybe some version of Deshaun Watson mixed with Big Ben? Seriously, Watson still playing in 2026 is a real possibility. That is just the Cleveland experience. The New York Giants select Francis Mauigoa, tackle from Miami. Now that is interesting. I thought they would take Caleb Downs here, but they needed line help. Mauigoa should lock down that right side for years. Then again, we said the same thing about Evan Neal, and we all saw how that turned out. How did he bust that badly? And you are probably wondering how the Giants ended up with pick number 10, right? Sit back while I tell you about Sexy Dexy. Dexter Lawrence wanted out. He requested a trade weeks ago and finally got it. The Bengals were desperate for any defensive help, so they paid a high price for a proven star. They only gave him a 1-year extension. If he plays well, they will be dealing with the same mess next offseason. Thank goodness that is not my team. Moving on, the Dallas Cowboys select Caleb Downs, defensive back, Ohio State. Of course, Caleb Downs falls right to Dallas. They always seem to find the perfect match for their specific needs. We all saw that awful Cowboys defense last year. They let Russell Wilson throw for over 400 yards on them. It had to be fixed. They traded some late-round picks to move up one spot and get their guy. That is solid front office work. Many scouts think Downs is the most likely Hall of Famer in this entire class. That does not even matter right now. Dallas just needs someone who can actually cover. Downs can do exactly that. He is a great fit. It might be a home run, but we will see. The Miami Dolphins select Caden Proctor, tackle, Alabama. Brace yourselves, everyone. The proctologist is heading down to South Beach. They need a miracle because they are blowing this roster up. Look at that dead cap. It was necessary, but, man, someone has to protect Malik Willis in this new era. The Dolphins are betting that Proctor is the man for it. Green Bay loves winning in the trenches, and they have brought in plenty of talent from that specific front office. Even with legendary coach Nick Saban throwing shade on national television, there are still plenty of doubters. We will see if this gamble pays off. The Los Angeles Rams select Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson. Are you kidding me? Les Snead is famous for saying forget those picks. But taking a massive project this early as a contender? Ty Simpson fell apart last year. He was my ride or die for Bama, though. You are making bonehead moves like Atlanta now because you have their draft pick. Stafford is getting older, but the guy just won an MVP. What is Simpson inheriting when Matt finally retires? Devontae is likely gone. Puka Nacua might burn out. The offensive line will look totally different soon. Sean McVay looked miserable in his press conference. He might be looking for a way out soon, too. They probably forced him to agree. It is a mix of extreme guts and pure arrogance in one boat. They want an heir apparent, just like the Packers did when they drafted Jordan Love. Taking a guy at 13 with only 15 career starts? The Rams did not need to buy time. They were one special teams play away from the Super Bowl. If his physical tools do not translate, that James Pierce Jr. trade was for nothing. At least JPJ is not facing charges for nearly killing a woman. Life is good for stars. The Baltimore Ravens select Olu Fashanu, an offensive tackle from Penn State. He might be a great guard, but Baltimore is really celebrating the end of the Daniel Falele era. His terrible technique and status as a permanent project are gone. He is the New York Giants' problem now. Good luck with him over there. They had to fill a hole after Linderbaum was let go for cap reasons. This explains why they walked away from their deal for Max Crosby. They had too many holes for one edge rusher to fix. Can't be worse than last season, right? If the owner is messing with the draft, at least it is only a fifth-round pick. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers select linebacker Reuben Bain Jr. He has had the Jalen Carter experience this past month. A huge talent with plenty of red flags during the intense pre-draft scouting process. Just look at all those scouts crying about his short arms. NFL offensive linemen are going to eat those short arms for lunch. Then you have that accident from 2 years ago where a passenger in his car died a few days later. Those two factors turned a top 10 talent into a Randy Moss-style slide down the draft board. He is no Randy Moss, but having that kind of career would not be a bad result. He stays in Florida and should make an immediate impact. Tampa Bay desperately needs pass rushers. Perfect fit. Ask Jalen Carter if falling was a blessing. The New York Jets select Kenyon Sadiq, tight end, Oregon. Choosing a tight end over a receiver right now? That is an interesting move. Sadiq is a test of talent versus actual stats. He fits the modern tight end mold perfectly. Kenyon was hesitant at first. He honestly thought the Jets calling him was a total prank. Maybe the Jets themselves are the prank. That is the mystery here, along with his massive upside. Then there is the old school view. He did not produce a whole lot in college. People are comparing him to Kyle Brady, but that is unfair. He is way more athletic and dynamic. The Detroit Lions select Blake Miller, tackle, Clemson. This move says Taylor Decker has played his last game in Detroit. Miller has been a beast at right tackle, so Penei Sewell moves over to protect the blind side, where he will probably dominate like always. The Lions love an elite line under Dan Campbell. Blake should fit right in, opening lanes for the backs. I do not care if they thought it was necessary. This kind of move should be illegal. The Minnesota Vikings select Caleb Banks. Hold on. They didn't take Dillon? Banks fits the Florida system, and they need him. Is Harrison Smith really coming back at 37? Did Kwesi Adofo-Mensah actually get fired? Taking a second-round guy when no other defensive tackles have been picked yet is certainly a choice. He was constantly injured during his college years. That is usually a massive red flag for any pro prospect. He has raw talent, but it feels like the Vikings overthought this pick to fill another roster hole. They lost key guys at defensive tackle, but they could have grabbed him later. Banks probably would have fallen to round 2 anyway. Whatever. We will only know if this was a bust or a steal once he actually hits the field. The Carolina Panthers select Georgia tackle Monroe Freeling. Keep Bryce Young safe. That is the only goal that matters. That right tackle spot is a massive hole. They need a permanent fix to keep things steady for the upcoming season. Monroe Freeling should be exactly what they need for that job. They skipped over some elite talent here. Drafting an offensive lineman is never the flashy move that gets fans excited in the morning. Real football nerds love it, but most people find it boring. Look, if Monroe plays 10 years in Carolina, no one is going to complain. The Philadelphia Eagles select USC wide receiver Mai Lemon. Tons of Eagles fans on Twitter were screaming that A.J. Brown was not going anywhere this offseason. They cried that those trade rumors were completely made up and far-fetched. But anyone with half a brain knew his time was up after those drops against the Niners. Is he headed to the Patriots or somewhere else? Who knows? But Mai Lemon is expected to dominate in this Eagles offense. If they can wash away the memory of Kevin Bullough and those character concerns are just talk, they found the next great Eagles receiver. Howie Roseman worked his magic again, snagging the perfect target who fell much further in the draft than anyone expected. He cut a deal with the Cowboys, trading up to steal a top player from right under another team's nose. This is not the first time they have done this with a receiver. It worked out perfectly for them the last time around. Next, Philly swooped in and traded 2 third-round picks to Minnesota for Jonathan Grard. Then they gave him $50 million guaranteed, and we all lost it. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Arizona State tackle Max Ehner. They played renegade right before this pick because Philly stole Lemon while the Steelers were literally on the phone with him. The sour reality: disappointment is their only reward. Honestly, it fits how this team collapses the moment things start to go their way. Instead, the Steelers panicked and reached for their second option. Look, a pick like that only tells us one thing. Rodri Jones's injury is way worse than we thought. From what people are saying, he might never play a snap again. And that is how you end up drafting 3 offensive tackles in the first round in just 3 years. Max himself is fine, but letting Philly embarrass you while you are hosting the draft? Come on, man. The fans are already getting crushed by the Flyers. They do not need any more trash talk. But somehow, it gets worse. They are still waiting on a 42-year-old toxic vet to decide if he is coming back. He is not worth it. Otherwise, they are stuck with Mason Rudolph. Our answer to the rumors is Drew Aller. You were terrible at Penn State. Nittany Lions fans could not wait for him to go. Plus, his family literally has season tickets for the Browns. I guess that is what I get for making fun of the Ty Simpson pick. The Chargers select Miami linebacker Hockey Meador. The Chargers' interior line was a disaster last year. Most of those guys are either gone or retired, yet they ignored it in round 1. To be fair, they grabbed a lineman in the second round. But still, Meador is being groomed to eventually replace Khalil Mack as the primary leader of that defensive line. He is a beast of an edge rusher who can wreck an offense, but he is old. Leonardo DiCaprio would scoff at his age. There is not much room left for him to grow as a player. Maybe he just dominates right away. The Chargers are certainly betting on that happening. The Dallas Cowboys select defensive end Malachi Lawrence out of UCF. Scooter Magruder must be a psychic. He predicted the Cowboys would take Malachi Lawrence, and they actually did it. Honestly, Dallas did not hide their interest in him leading up to the draft. It was not rocket science, but I will give credit. He is the guy they hope will make Cowboys fans forget all about Micah Parsons. He is a physical edge rusher who is elite at stopping the run. That is exactly what Jerry Jones wants most. Dallas is actually making smart picks to fill their needs. So how is Jerry going to blow this? It is not just about Rashawn Gary. I mean, Green Bay was probably going to cut him regardless. The Cleveland Browns select KC Compion. Wide receiver out of Texas A&M. Browns had 2 huge needs entering round 1. Grab an offensive tackle and a wideout. This pick definitely checks that second box. Picking a receiver prone to drops for a team with stone hands? Bold move. Casey has that twitchy speed. He told every team he is the best in this draft. That confidence is infectious. Plus, landing Denzel Boston in the second round was a steal. These young stars will catch passes from whoever is starting at quarterback in Cleveland. As a rival, I am hoping for the ghost of Deshaun Watson. It is a possibility. The Chicago Bears select Dylan Dynaman, defensive back from Oregon. Minnesota's loss is Chicago's gain. The Bears clearly needed help at the safety position. All those turnovers hid the fact they gave up massive passing yards last year. Now Dylan falls to them. They will take him and torture Vikings fans for years. Ideally, he and Kobe Bryant will rebuild that secondary and provide a huge boost. If they click, the whole North is in trouble. The Texans select Keelan Rutledge, guard. Have you seen how awful the Texans' offensive line has been lately? It is bad. They will take any blocker available. Rutledge is one of the best linemen left. Take what you need and move on. Other teams should have learned that lesson. If Houston fixes the protection for C.J. Stroud, it is a whole new game. Miami selects Chris Johnson. The Niners traded down to stack up on later picks. Miami moves up for a top corner. Honestly, the Dolphins need help everywhere. They need young talent so badly it is almost criminal. They are desperate. Chris Johnson has world-class speed, just like the legendary running back before him. That speed rivals the best receivers. Welcome to the NFL, Chris. Trial by fire. Rise like a phoenix. The New England Patriots select Caleb Lomu, tackle from Utah. Caleb Lomu was easily the biggest story for the Patriots this past week. This pick screams panic. Their tackles got mauled, and they had to fix it immediately. Or do you think they got aggressive and traded up for this guy? Tackles are flying off the board. Does Lomu replace the struggling, injured Will Campbell? Lomu might develop for a year, but I am not worried about him at all. The man wears jorts. He will be great, but he is no Jennings dunker. Look at the mullet and mustache. Jennings from Iowa is a future gold jacket. I do not make the rules. The Kansas City Chiefs select Peter Woods, Clemson. The Chiefs must prepare. Travis Kelce is not the only star with retirement concerns. Chris Jones is aging too. They used the McDuffie pick for a future line anchor. But for a guy with only 2 sacks last season, I have some doubts. If Spagnuolo molds Woods into a wrecking ball, that lack of production won't matter. He will either be a superstar or out of the league in 4 years. The New York Jets select Omar Cooper Jr., wide receiver from Indiana. San Francisco reached on I picks. The Jets gladly took the proven talent. Look at that catch against Penn State. That play alone made him a first-rounder. That is an NFL-level catch. He will pair perfectly with Garrett Wilson, filling needs and hoping these draft picks do not blow up in their faces. Omar catching passes from the legendary Geno Smith? He is the savior who will lead them. That glory is probably Arch Manning. The Tennessee Titans select Kendrick B. from Auburn. Philly traded down 3 times. Did Brandon Beane learn nothing from the Keon Coleman situation? Wait, Keon is still a Bill after ownership threw him under the bus in January? Here we go. The Titans trade back into the first round, sticking to the same aggressive strategy as Miami. This roster is full of holes. Throw a dart at a billboard and you will hit a need. Look, it landed on Keldrick Falk. His production dipped after that 2024 breakout, but they are banking on those elite athletic traits to finally pay off. If anyone can turn this kid into a real contributor, it is Robert Saleh. Any hope for the staff is gone. Peter Bache has been snuffed out as Chad Brinker steps down after years of winning internal power struggles. It is a great day in Tennessee. Truly. Now, with the next pick, the Seattle Seahawks select Notre Dame running back Jadarian Price. Closing out the night, we have the reigning Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. They looked to trade back but decided to stay put just to secure that valuable 5th-year option on the contract. Seattle, it is time to pay that heavy ring tax. Your depth and free agents are scattering across the league, hunting for massive paydays and big bonuses. Even Super Bowl MVP K9, the Chiefs dropped a bag to bring him in, desperate to fix their massive hole at running back. Seattle loves a 2-headed backfield tandem, and Jadarian Price was the best runner left on the board. Welcome to the champions, sir. He is used to sharing the workload after playing with Jeremiah Love at Notre Dame. Now, Price and Zach Charbonnet lead Seattle into a new era. That wraps up round one of the 2026 NFL Draft. With 800,000 fans in town, Pittsburgh showed off its charm, even while getting bullied on the field by their rivals to the east. It is not the first time that has happened lately. But in the end, the real winner for Pittsburgh is Justin Fields. He is a local kid from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, waving that terrible towel while the crowd goes absolutely nuts.